Social conformity is something that is so subtle and can be so pervasive that oftentimes we don't even know we're doing it until we see experiments like this. Okay, check this out.
To answer that question, we set up a hidden camera experiment to see if this woman would stand up at the sound of this tone. Simply because everyone else is. You might be thinking you'd never go along with this. Or would you? After just 3 beeps, and without knowing why she's doing it, this woman is now conforming perfectly to the group.
That's crazy. 3 beeps in, because everybody's standing up, she starts standing up.
But what happens if we take the group away?
Elaine, please.
This is insane.
Okay, now she's alone. The crowd is gone and nobody is watching her, except our hidden cameras. What do you think she'll do?
She still stands up. She still stands up. Yo. She still stood up. This is amazing.
She's now conforming to the rules of the group without them even being there.
Wow.
Now, watch what happens when we...
Hey, listen, there is... Oh, man, this can preach. This can preach. You've been immersed in the world so much, conforming to what other people do, that when you're alone, you have been programmed to keep doing the very goofy, self-destructive things that other people do. That is how pervasive sin is in our lives and in our society. Conformity. Conformity is yuck. Wow. By the way, I got a Bible verse for you guys in a second. Stay with me.
We introduce another outsider who doesn't know the rules.
Have a seat and they'll be out in just a couple minutes. Thanks so much.
Everybody was doing it, so I thought I was supposed to.
Think she'll teach the new guy what to do?
Is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it? You guys think he's gonna do it? I've never seen this video before. Yeah, this would actually be a fire sermon illustration, by the way. Hopefully no one's used it, because I'm definitely gonna use it. No! No! Oh, bruh.
We kept the cameras rolling as more unsuspecting patients arrived.
Oh my gosh. So she's like, everybody was doing it. He just, so I kept doing it, and therefore he then started doing it, and this other lady's, oh man.
Slowly but surely, what began as a random rule for this woman has now become the social norm for everyone in this waiting room. Here to explain what's going on in their brains is Jonah Berger of the University of Pennsylvania.
This sort of internalized form of herd behavior is part of what we call social learning. Starting at a very early age, when we see members of our group perform a task, our brains literally reward us for following in their footsteps.
When I saw everybody stand up, I felt like I needed to join them. Otherwise, I'm like excluded. Once I decided to go with it, then I felt much more comfortable.
Conformity is how we become socialized, but it can also cause us to develop bad habits or repeat past wrongs.
Oh yeah.
And it's why even this rebel, who wasn't standing for any of this nonsense, eventually joined the ranks.
Don't do it! No! Ugh!
And the only thing more shocking than seeing how easily conformity affects the way you act is that similar forces are subconsciously shaping the way you think right now.
One of my favorite Bible verses. Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Verse 2, do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. I think there's so much here in terms of God's will, but I think there's also something here with regards to us conforming to God's will, because if we don't conform to God's will, we will conform to whatever the world is doing, which is oftentimes going to be self-destructive and bad and goofy and silly. This is why people need Jesus, man. This is why people need Jesus, because if you don't got Jesus, you'll just be a bot. You'll just be a bot. You'll just be a sheep. Might as well follow the good shepherd. We're all sheep anyway. Might as well follow the good shepherd. Might as well follow Jesus. Wow, man, that was sheesh. That was brutal. That was brutal. I've never seen that clip before. I think we feel the urge to conform because we are social creatures. You know, we're social creatures and we like to conform to things. And this is why church is important. This is why your friend group is important. You are the sum of your friends. You are the sum of the church you're going to. If you're around a bunch of people who love Jesus and are living their life in pursuit of Jesus, guess what? You're going to be more likely to do that. If you're following a bunch of people that are leaning into everything God has for them and trying to get the fullness of walking in that and chiseling away their sin and really walking with God, guess what? You're going to be more likely to do that, right? So I would say this is why the local church community and your friend group is important. This is why these things is important, man. How do you feel about online ministries telling people not to go to church because church people are bad? I think that's terrible. I think that's awful. Get your butt in a church. Please get in a local church. Get in a local church. All right? Don't listen to those online ministries. They're wrong. They're wrong. You need to be in a local assembly, a local ecclesia, a local gathering. Okay? If you don't know where, start with the local Calvary Chapel in your area. Okay? I currently don't go to a Calvary Chapel, but if you don't know where, you know, that's where I would start. Calvary Chapel is kind of like a denomination, even though it's not a denomination. We see, according to the Bible, that prayer is extremely important in terms of us being transformed from the inside out when we get aligned with God's will. For the Christians watching this channel, I want you guys to implement these spiritual disciplines in your day-to-day life. And the only way I've been able to do this consistently is through writing down my prayers in a prayer journal that does a few things. One, it allows me to reflect and come to God humbly and ask him to move on my behalf. And two, it allows me to document my prayers, which ultimately help me remember the very things that I was praying for and see the hand of God tangibly in my life when he answers them. So I would urge you, consider writing down your prayers. It could be in a blank notebook. It could even be on your phone. Or you could check out the one I personally designed and used from my own quiet time and spiritual discipline that I think will be a huge blessing. It's the exact structure and system that I've used for years to pray and be more consistent in my spiritual disciplines. You can pick yours up today by clicking the link in the pinned comment below. All right, I'll see you over there. Peace.